Hello and welcome. In the last lecture, we have covered three-phase fully controlled rectifier, and we have seen that in case of R type of load, output voltage and current both are positive. See here, output voltage V0 and output current I0 both are positive, so it is operating at first coordinate. And in case of RL type of load, when firing angle alpha is greater than 90 degree, the V0 become negative. So the output power, which is V0 into I0, will also become negative. It means that the direction of power flow through the converter will reverse, that is from DC side to AC side, provided there exists a power source in DC side of suitable polarity. The converter in that case is known as inverting mode of operation. See here the operating zone. In the first coordinate, V0 and I0 both are positive and it is operating as a converter, and in second coordinate, V0 is negative but I0 is positive and it is operating as a inverter. It should be noted that the direction of current for both converter and inverter operations remain fixed, but the polarity of output voltage reverses. Clear? Now, this three-phase fully controlled converter are very popular in many industrial applications. It can handle reasonably high power and has acceptable harmonic distortion. This configuration is also easily connected in series or parallel for increasing voltage or current rating. However, this versatility of three-phase fully controlled converters are obtained at high cost and increased circuit complexity due to use of 6 thyristors and their associate control circuit. This complexity and cost can be considerably reduced in three-phase semiconverters where power regeneration or inversion is not required. In that case, 3 thyristors of the top group or the bottom group can be replaced by 3 diodes. See here, in this case, the bottom group thyristors are replaced by the 3 diodes. These 3 diodes not only reduce the complexity and cost of the circuit but also prevent the negative voltage appearing at the output at any time. So, it cannot able to operate in regenerative or inverting mode. So, it is operate only first coordinate. So, in this lecture, we will going to discuss about the three-phase semiconverter. It also known as three-phase half control converter. In this circuit, 3 thyristors T1, T3 and T5 and 3 diodes D2, D4 and D6 are used. Each leg of the converter is formed by an SCR and a diode. It has 3 legs, VA, VB and VC representing 3-phase supply, and RL load is connected across the output terminal. We can see here the balanced 3-phase supply waveform where VA is equal to Vm sin omega t, VB equal to Vm sin omega t minus 120 degree and VC equal to Vm sin omega t minus 240 degree. The output voltage V0 across the load terminal is controlled by varying the firing angle of T1, T3 and T5, and the diode D2, D4 and D6 provides the return path of the current. The diodes are connected in a common anode configuration, so that diode will conduct whose cathode potential is more negative, that is minimum. Look at here, from omega t equal to 90 degree to 210 degree, the potential of phase C is more negative, that is minimum. So, diode D2 associated with that phase will conduct during this interval. Clear? And from omega t equal to 210 degree to 330 degree, the potential of A phase is more negative. So, during that interval, diode D4 is associated with that A phase will conduct. So, D4 will conduct. Clear? Similarly, from omega t is equal to 330 degree to 450 degree, the potential of B phase is more negative and diode D6 associated with that B phase will conduct during this interval. Similarly, here also D6 will conduct. Clear? Here I am assuming continuous conduction mode, that is the output current is constant and refill free. In continuous conduction mode, one thyristor from the top group and one diode from the bottom group will conduct, just like three-phase fully controlled converter. Note that in case of semi-converter, both the device, that is thyristors and diode from same leg can conduct at the same time. During that interval, the V0 becomes 0. We will see this condition after some time. Now the conduction interval of the diodes are fixed. See here the conduction interval of the diode. It is fixed and the thyristors are conduct according to their gate pulse. Let us consider the firing angle alpha is equal to 30 degree. So T1 is triggered at omega t is equal to 60 degree, which is 30 degree away from the point of natural commutation x. Similarly, T3 and T5 are triggered at omega t equal to 180 degree and 300 degree respectively. Now you can see the conduction interval of all the devices at here. Now the output voltage V0 is always the line voltages. So first draw the line voltage waveform, that is VAB, VBC and VCA. And we also require the opposite of the line voltages, that is opposite of the CA is equal to AC and opposite of the AB is equal to BA and opposite of the BC is equal to CB, also drawn. Now I am considering the interval of 60 degree to 90 degree. From 60 degree to 90 degree, the thyristor T1 and diode D6 is on. Thyristor T1 and diode D6 is on. If I draw the equivalent circuit, it is look like this, that is T1 and D6 is short circuited as they are on, and the output voltage V0, if you apply the KVL at this loop, that is V0 equal to VA minus VB, that is VAB. So during this interval the output voltage V0 is following this VAB. Clear? Now considering the next interval, which is 90 degree to 180 degree. 90 degree to 180 degree. During this interval, the thyristor T1 and diode D2 is on. See here, thyristor T1 and diode D2 is conduct. So during that period, the V0, if we apply the KVL, that V0 equal to VA minus VC. So V0 become VAC. So see here, from 90 degree to 180 degree, the V0 following the VAC curve. Clear? Now from 180 degree to 210 degree, the thyristor T3 and diode D2 will conduct. Thyristor T3 and diode D2 will conduct. So during that interval, V0 equal to VB minus VC, that is VBC, which is appear at here. Clear? Again, considering the interval from omega t equal to 210 to 300 degree. So during that interval, the thyristor T3 and diode D4 is on. So thyristor T3 and diode D4 will on. So if I apply the KVL at this loop, then V0 equal to VB minus VA, which is VBA. See here, from 210 to 300 degree, it is following the VBA waveform. Clear? Similarly, from 300 degree to 330 degree, T5 D4 conduct, and from 330 to 420 degree, T5 D6 conduct. So during that interval, the output voltage VCA and VCB respectively. So this way the cycle is repeating. Clear? Now what about the phase current? I am considering the phase current of A. See here, the phase A is conducting when T1 is on or D4 is on. When T1 is on, the phase current is positive. When D4 is on, the phase current is negative. Clear? See here, the T1 is on from omega t equal to 60 degree to 180 degree. So during that period, the phase current is positive, and the D4 is on from omega t equal to 210 to 330 degree. So during that period, phase current IA is negative. And what about the magnitude of the phase current? The magnitude of phase current is same as the load current. So this is I0. So in a cycle, the phase A is conducting for 120 plus 120, that is 240 degree duration. Therefore, RMS of phase current, that is IA RMS, equal to root over 240 by 360 I0. Clear? Next, considering the firing angle alpha is equal to 60 degree. The conduction interval of the diodes are shown here, and it is remain fixed as the load current is continuous. The firing angle of thyristor T1, T3 and T5 are always measured from the point of natural commutation X, Y and Z respectively. As the firing angle alpha is equal to 60 degree, the thyristor T1 is triggered at omega t equal to 30 plus 60, that is 90 degree. T3 is triggered at omega t equal to 150 plus 60, that is 210 degree. And the T5 is triggered at omega t equal to 270 plus 60, that is 330 degree. The conduction interval of the thyristors are shown here. Here also all the line voltages are drawn to find out the V0 waveform. Clear? Now considering the interval of omega t is equal to 90 degree to 210 degree. During that interval T1 and D2 will conduct. See here, thyristor T1 and diode D2 are conducting. So V0 during that interval by applying KVL at this loop is equal to VA minus VC, that is VAC. So V0 equal to line voltage VAC is drawn here. Clear? Now considering the next interval, that is omega t equal to 210 to 330 degree. During that period T3 and D4 will conduct. See here, T3 and D4 are on. So V0 by applying KVL in this loop is equal to VB minus VA, that is VBA. So from omega t equal to 210 degree to 330 degree, V0 following the VBA waveform. Clear? Again from omega t equal to 330 degree to 450 degree, T5 and D6 will conduct. So in this circuit T5 and D6 is shorted and V0 become VC minus VB, that is VCB. It also showing here VCB. Clear? This way the cycle is repeating. Now you can see the output voltage waveform when firing angle alpha is less than 60 degree. Here I am considering the output voltage V0 when alpha is equal to 30 degree and 60 degree. In both the case, the output voltage waveform are repeating after 120 degree interval. That means the period of V0 is 120 degree. So you can say that output voltage is periodic over 1/3 of the input cycle, as input cycle is 360 degree. See here, the V0 has two curves in a period, that is VAB and VAC. So to find out the V0, we have to consider both the curve. So V0 equal to 1 by time period, that is 2 pi by 3, that is 120 degree, integration from this point to this point. So that is 30 plus alpha, because this is the point of natural commutation for the thyristor T1, to 90 degree VAB d omega t plus this point to this point. So this point is fixed 90 degree to, this is also the point of natural commutation for thyristor T3, 150 plus alpha VAC d omega t, and we know the value of VAB and VAC, that is root 3 Vm sin omega t plus 30 degree, and VAC equal to root 3 Vm sin omega t minus 30 degree. If we put the value at this equation, ultimately we will have this expression, that is 3 root 3 Vm by 2 pi 1 plus cos alpha, where Vm is the maximum phase voltage. Clear? This equation is also applicable when firing angle alpha is equal to 60 degree. See here, in this case this alpha is replaced by the 60 degree, that is 30 plus 60, 90 to 90. So this AB portion will automatically remove. See here, in this curve the AB portion is not there, and this equation is valid up to firing angle is 60 degree. So next we will see when the firing angle is greater than 60 degree. For alpha greater than 60 degree, let us considering the firing angle alpha is equal to 90 degree. So thyristor T1 is triggered at omega t equal to 120 degree, that is 90 degree away from the point X. T3 is triggered at omega t equal to 240 degree, that is 90 degree away from point of natural commutation Y. And T5 is triggered at omega t equal to 360 degree, which is 90 degree away from the point of natural commutation Z. Clear? So we can see here the conduction interval of the thyristors and the conduction interval of the diode are remain fixed as load current is continuous. First considering the interval of omega t equal to 120 degree to 210 degree. So from 120 degree to 210 degree, the thyristor T1 and diode D2 is on. See here, thyristor T1 and diode D2 are on. Now V0 by applying KVL in this loop, that is VA minus VC, that is VAC. So from 120 degree to 210 degree it is following the VAC waveform. Clear? Next, considering the interval of omega t equal to 210 degree to 240 degree, that is thyristor T1 and diode D4 will conduct. See here, thyristor T1 and diode D4 are conducting. Look here, in this case both the device from same leg are conducting. If we apply the KVL in this loop, the V0 becomes 0. As the load current is continuous, so through this D4 and T1 the load current is freewheeling. So during that interval V0 becomes 0. Now considering the interval from omega t equal to 240 degree to 330 degree, during that interval T3 and D4 will conduct. See here, T3 and D4 are conducting. So V0 during this interval is equal to VB minus VA, that is VBA. See here, it is following this VBA waveform. Again considering from omega t equal to 330 degree to 360 degree, so during that interval T3 and D6 will conduct. So T3 and D6 will conduct. See here, both the device from the same leg will conduct. That means the current will freewheeling during that interval. So during that interval V0 become 0. Clear? This way the cycle is repeating. Now as we are considering the load current is continuous, so I have drawn this load current I0, and we can see here the conduction devices, the magnitude of load current already assume that it is capital I0. Now what about the phase current IA? See here, the phase current will be there when either T1 is on or D4 is on. When T1 is on, the phase current is positive. When D4 is on, phase current is negative. But when both the devices are on, the phase current is 0, because the current will not flowing through that phase. It will freewheeling through D4 and T1. So from 120 degree to 210 degree, so only T1 is on. So phase current IA during that interval is positive, and from 210 to 240 degree T1 and D4 both the device from same leg are on. So the phase current during that interval is 0. Again only D4 is on from 240 degree to 330 degree. So during that interval the phase current is negative and magnitude is I0. Now see the thyristor current IT1, which is flowing through the thyristor T1. See here, the T1 is on from omega t equal to 120 degree to 240 degree. So during that period IT1 equal to I0. Clear? Now the expression of average output voltage V0 is equal to 1 by time period. In this case the time period is 120 degree. So 1 by 2 pi by 3, I am taking this interval. So integration from this point to this point, this is 30 degree plus alpha to 210 degree VAC d omega t, where VAC equal to root 3 Vm sin omega t minus 30 degree. After solving, V0 become 3 root 3 Vm by 2 pi 1 plus cos alpha. This expression of V0 is same as the previous case when firing angle alpha is less than 60 degree. So V0 equal to 3 root 3 Vm by 2 pi 1 plus cos alpha when firing angle varying from 0 degree to 180 degree. Clear? Similarly, from the same concept we can find out the expression of RMS output voltage also. So that's all about this lecture. Thank you for watching.